apartment 405. Wait, this can't be real, I whispered, staring at the message on my phone. It was from Peter. Run. Now don't look in the mirror. My heart started pounding. I lifted my head and looked toward the bathroom door, and then I heard it. A whisper. It was coming from inside, but I was completely alone. Or at least I thought I was. It all started when Peter moved into his new apartment. It was a small studio in an old building, apartment 405. The rent was suspiciously cheap, but Peter didn't care. He just needed a place to start fresh. Right away, he noticed something strange. The bathroom mirror couldn't be removed. It was attached directly to the wall, with no frame, no edges, no way to take it down. The building manager just told him not to worry about it, said it had been there for decades. The first few weeks were normal. Then, one night, Peter called me. Hey man, I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like something's watching me through the mirror. What do you mean? I asked. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like my reflection moves a split second late, like it's not really me. I laughed it off, told him he was imagining things, but Peter wasn't laughing. No, Adam, I think something's in there. After that night, he started acting weird. He stopped responding as often, and when he did, his texts were short, sometimes completely nonsensical. Then one day, he sent me a voice message. At first, it was just static and a strange, faint whispering. But in the middle of it, I swear I heard something that sounded like, "Help me." And then, nothing. Peter stopped answering entirely. His phone went straight to voicemail. I finally decided to go check on him. His apartment door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked normal. The furniture was still there. The lights were on. But something felt wrong, like the air itself was heavier, filled with something that shouldn't be there. "Peter?" I called out. No answer. Then I noticed the bathroom door. It was slightly open, and the mirror was shattered. Large shards of glass covered the sink and the floor. But that wasn't what scared me the most. There was no reflection in the mirror. Not mine, not anything, just emptiness. Then my phone vibrated. A new message from Peter. "Run, now don't look in the mirror." And that's when I heard it. A whisper, low, raspy, coming from the bathroom. Someone, or something, was in there. And then, the door began to slowly creak open. I couldn't move. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. I just stood there, watching as the door inched open, revealing the dark room beyond. And then I saw him. Peter, or at least something that looked like him. His skin was pale, almost unnaturally so. His eyes were wide and completely black. Just two empty voids. He stood in the middle of the bathroom, arms limp at his sides, and from the corners of his mouth, a thin black liquid dripped. "Peter?" I whispered. He didn't answer. He just stood there, staring. And then, he smiled. Not a human smile. It stretched too wide, unnatural, as if his skin were tearing apart. And when he spoke, it wasn't his voice. It was deep, distorted, layered with multiple voices speaking at once. "Don't look in the mirror." I finally listened to my instincts. I ran. I sprinted out of the apartment, down the stairs, and nearly crashed into the building's manager, an old man who had lived there his whole life. "What the hell happened up there?" I gasped. The old man gave me a long, tired look. 405? He asked. I nodded, still struggling to catch my breath. "That apartment's been empty for years," he said quietly. I stared at him. "No, My friend lived there. Peter. He had all his stuff. I saw him. The old man sighed. No one lives in that apartment. You know why? Because no one ever leaves. I opened my mouth to argue, but then I felt it. A cold, creeping sensation along the back of my neck. I turned my head, and there, at the top of the staircase, Peter was watching me, and he was smiling. I never saw Peter again after that night. The police searched the apartment, but they found nothing. No trace of Peter, no furniture, no belongings. As if he had never been there at all. But I know what I saw. And I know that it's still watching me. Because sometimes, when I look in the mirror, I swear my reflection moves a split second late. And sometimes, if I stare long enough, I see Peter standing behind me, smiling.